Coach, it's hard to imagine, but Montpelier comes to town, and this will be the last time that we'll ever play Montpelier, a series that goes back to 1912.
Yeah, and it's a little different for us. Obviously, we rotated schedules this year, and usually we have them about the middle of our season, and that's where we're used to playing them. And now it's the second to last game, second to last league game for us, and I think it's their last league game that they'll ever play in our conference, and so it's pretty neat. It's pretty special. These two teams have a lot of history together, and it's kind of a neat way, I think, for them to finish up the NWAL, and it's obviously exciting for our kids, and we'll be ready to go at home here. It's our last home game of the year. So
yes, that's always a big one for you too. Relatively slim chance of a playoff berth at this point in time, but it's still there, so you still have two big games left ahead of you.
Yeah,
right now.
I've been in other situations where it's been a little slimmer. We need a couple things to happen, but they're not. You look at the way things set up; they're not unrealistic for them to happen. And so, first and foremost, we got to take care of ourselves. We got to win these last two games, then we give ourselves a chance. And then we need a little bit of outside help, but it's not. It's not really out of the realm of possibilities, believe it or not. I know it sounds weird being 7-3 and having a chance, but I still think we have a chance to not even sneak in. I think we have a chance to get in.
Sure. The amazing thing is if you end this year at 7-3 with 2 wins, that's still a pretty darn good year. We've been a little spoiled the last few years being 10-0. But you still got a pretty good football team, and if you do get in, you still have a football team that might gel and make some noise in the playoffs too.
Yeah, I think our kids are aware of that, but I think more than anything else, we've got to be focused on Montpelier.
Sure.
It's really hard, especially after the way we played last week, to think about 7-3. Right now we've got to work on win number 6, and that starts with playing against Montpelier this week. And so I think our kids, while that might be in the back of their mind, first and foremost, we got to focus on what we're doing this week, because this is a pretty good team coming to town. It's a much better team than it was even a year ago, and I think Coach Branchhouse, slowly been patient with these kids. They have a really good group of juniors that they've been waiting on, and those kids are getting up there now. And their schemes and stuff that they run offensively and defensively are very solid. And so I think this is a group that they're excited about, and they've definitely got our attention. And they're a team that's put up a lot of points over the last couple of weeks, and they do a lot of good things. And so I think our kids will have their hands full come Friday night. Dylan
Snyder, another pretty decent quarterback.
Really good.
Can run, can throw, from everything I've seen at least.
Yeah, he's what makes them go. And when you look at them, they've got 2 wins on the season. They have 2 other games that they easily could have won. We're right there in contention for it, and they're putting up points, and he's the main reason why. He's a really good runner. He runs their option scheme really well, reads things really well, and then he's got a good arm on him as well, so he throws the ball well. So he's a tough matchup for us, and there's a couple games where their offense was, I won't say unproductive, but they struggled a little bit, and that's when he didn't play. So he's a big part of what they do offensively. I don't think there's any doubt that they try to run the offense through him. And a tremendous athlete.
And you have to believe the last opportunity for them to defeat Bryan in Bryan, they're going to be sky high too coming to Bryan on Friday night.
I know. We're all familiar with what this rivalry is, and we know that their kids will be excited to play, and that community is excited to play, and it's hard to believe that it's coming to an end. Honestly, just as much history is there, but I think what they're doing is the right thing. I think they're getting into a league that year in and year out they have a good chance to compete. They're playing schools that are more their size, and I think that's a good thing for that community. And I think when they look back on getting out of the NWAL and getting into this other league, they're going to see it as a positive thing in the future. They have a lot of talent over there, have just struggled the last few years, and this is going to give them a good opportunity to change that.
Yeah. Sounds like a great plan. I've thought that was a great idea when they came out with it too. How are the guys so far practicing this week after the big loss?
You don't have a lot of time to wallow in what happened the week before, and so you got to move forward. And we've been on the other end of it too. Where we've won some games pretty big, and it's kind of the same mentality. You got to stay focused on what you're trying to do. And I think in this game, you try not to get too high or too low, and you try to stay pretty even keeled with things. I would hope that they're anxious to get back out there. I know I am anxious to get back out there just to prove a little that you're not as bad as what you played the week before. And I think that's on our mind a little bit. I think we left that game, and each of us was a little bit embarrassed by the way that we played. So I think we're excited for another chance at a Friday night to get out there and prove that we can play this game and we can be a pretty good team.
We've hit that spot, Coach. What's it going to take to win against Montpelier on Friday night?
We got to come ready. I think more than anything, mentally we need to be prepared this week, and you're going to have to survive. There's always points in the game where there's some highs and some lows, and this is a group over at Montpelier that's pretty athletic, and we've got to survive the highs and lows and the tests that they put out there. For us, we got to be able to execute better and obviously tackle better than what we did a week ago, and I think those are big things. Fundamentally, just getting back to a lot of the basics that we've done since the beginning. We got to get back to that and execute better.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be an interesting game. Last time Montpelier comes to Bryan, last time those two teams will play. We'll have the ball game on bryansports.com at 6:45 and replay it Saturday night at 7 o'clock on BMU Channel 3. Good luck, Coach, Friday night.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching us here on Extra Point.